Defilers are truly massive beasts of war, twice the size of most other demon engines, and with a temper to match. The ground shivers and melts as they stalk towards their foes on 6 massive spined legs, their great pincer arms twitching and snipping with an impatient need to slice through warm flesh. The Defiler's crab-like body supports a demonic torso that carries an array of deadly weaponry, ranging from Reaper autocannons to racks of highly explosive missiles. It is the battle cannon mounted in its chest turret, however, that is undoubtedly the most potent armament. Each hell-forged shell that thunders out from its growling muzzle is capable of crippling a squad of Space Marines in a single earth-shaking blast. The warpsmiths who create these nightmarish constructions originally devised them to be walking artillery pieces, though their obsession with destruction soon saw their creations becoming ever more bestial and aggressive. Over time, the multi-legged chassis that bears the Defilers to war has been adapted to include shearing claws and spiked armor plates. Those foes fortunate enough to survive a Defiler's barrage of shells must then face its full fury at close quarters. Built with piston-driven claws to grab and crush the enemy, and boasting whirring blades of whip-like flails mounted on articulated limbs, the Defiler charges into the foe, crushing and grinding as it smashes aside all opposition. Its mechanical growls drown out the cries of the wounded and dying. Trampled corpses and mutilated limbs are left scattered in a red path behind it as the Defiler rampages through the enemy's ranks. Much like lesser demon engines, a Defiler is fueled and guided by the warp energy of a bound demon of chaos. When its full immortal anger is unleashed, the demon within drives the Defiler forwards, on clanking legs, spewing death with its guns. The Defiler rejoices in battle, for only then can it enjoy the blissful release of slaughter. Once the feeble warriors of the coarse god have been crushed, the Defiler will once more be bound in runic chains by its masters and dragged hissing back to the forges until it is needed once more. Slaughterfiend. Dedicated to Khorne, a Slaughterfiend is a Defiler, subjugated and ridden by a Khorne berserker. The first recorded instance of this reckless tactic came during the war for Eclipsion Prime, when the Skull Champion, Akregar, of the World Eater, jumped from the ruins of a hive spire onto the eponymous Defiler, known as Slaughterfiend, and managed to subdue the demonic machine to his own will, and hence ride it like a monstrous steed. Ever since, berserkers have attempted to emulate Akregar's actions and carve rune-etched links about the throat of the infernal vehicle, binding it to the will and rage of Khorne. Competition to ride such beasts is fierce, and though many try, very few succeed. In battle, whole units of berserkers will attempt to clamber onto a nearby Slaughterfiend, if only to steal a ride into the fray.